Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. So the place was actually first built and purchased by the King of France, Louis the 13th, and he built just a small hunting lodge. And later on, in the time of Louis XIV, he decided to build the grandest palace in the world. And actually it is the largest and most expensive palace ever built. Today's money will cost about a few $billions just to build this whole area. So you have also the huge grounds behind it. Used to be hunting grounds and also for other activities for the royals. And the palace itself has more than 1,200 rooms. And when Louis XIV used to live here, he would have the courtiers and all the nobles of France kept here to be living close, so they cannot plot against him. So basically he was holding everyone close to him. So for any favors, he always had to spend time in his palace. And so people would live here, about 5,000 people. And also there is the grounds, which also include many fountains, water fountains and canals. He actually built a small Venice for the Venetian boats. And also the whole palace was built only by French materials. About more than 15,000 people worked on the palace. And it cost a lot of money. Actually, 1 year income of the kingdom was spent on building a palace. And so Louis was a very crazy person, and he lived a very lavish lifestyle. He also built an opera house in the palace, so there is the Opera Gabriel, named after the architect, and also for five chapels for prayer. So you have 5 places for prayer inside, and also outside you have 2 more small palaces, the Petit Trianon and Grand Trianon. Also in this area was the famous Treaty of Paris signed here, and the Treaty of Versailles after the end of the First World War. So that was a peace treaty written amongst nations of Europe. And so it's a political place as well. In the time of the Second World War, after the Second World War as well, was not really used for much, but in just recent years, the government of France spent a lot of money to repair everything. So actually, because after the French Revolution, they did not really use the palace itself. Louis XVI also opened it as a place, as a museum before. Now it is one of the most famous museums, and of course the gardens are very famous because it is the largest park and garden outside of Paris, public space to visit, very beautiful. So it's being maintained from the income from the palace visitors, because imagine millions of people spending here their money just to enter the palace. So most of the money goes to the government, and some of it goes to repair things. Also the gates, which are in the front of the palace courtyard, also been repaired in the recent years, which cost about $8 million because it's covered in real gold. So that's one of the things about the palace, which is interesting. Also, the most famous room is called the Hall of Mirrors. More than 300 mirrors inside, and they used to light up the candles inside. So in a time of a party or some events, about 10,000 candles were lit around the palace. So they had no electricity back then, remember. And yeah, so the Hall of Mirrors was an interesting story behind it, because the only the glass makers and mirror makers were in Venice back then. So the French king invited some of these glass makers to create the mirrors for the halls of mirror. And the thing was, it was forbidden to give out the knowledge to foreigners, So when those Venetian masters went back to Venice, they were murdered by their own people because they gave away the secrets of their trade. So that's a fun fact about the Hall of Mirrors. Okay, so once we reach the parking for Versailles, you are free to go. We'll be stopping in front of the entrance to the main gate. The left-hand side of the building, from the left-hand side of the facade, you will find the entrance to the gardens. And also you have public toilets in the gardens at some buildings. And also have one just to the left-hand side after you enter the gate towards the entry of the museum. Okay, there will be signs for toilets normally. I'm not sure what they changed. I haven't been here for about 3 years, but we'll show you. We go together inside. Also, normally they have a security check for the bags. Okay, so they will ask you to open your bags and show the contents, and then we'll let you through. Okay, so that's the normal procedure. Also, outside of the palace, on the side of the road, you will find a couple of cafes and restaurants, stores, if you want to buy some water or some drinks, or if you just want to sit down and have a coffee in the shade. And there is plenty of cafes along the road coming up on the right hand side. So plenty of things to do. Guys, we will spend here 2 hours. 2 hours is enough? Yeah? Okay, we're gonna spend 2 hours. It's really hot outside here, so probably enough of the heat for 2 hours. Yeah, so we stay here till 4 o'clock, then we get back on the bus, and then we will all drive together to Montparnasse. Montparnasse will get you the tickets to enter the building and go up to the viewing deck, and also you get to spend some time for your dinner. So until 7 we will stay at Montparnasse, and then we drive back to the hotel, which is quite nearby the Montparnasse. Alright, so just a couple hundred meters down the road, and then we reach our parking. Also, guys, if you want to buy souvenirs, sometimes you see these African guys selling stuff. You can bargain with them. They give you much cheaper price for the same souvenirs you can buy in the stores. They sell all this stuff like magnets and well, keychains with the Eiffel Tower. So you can buy up a whole lot for much cheaper, because in the stores it's 3-4 times more expensive. So it's safe to buy from them. Okay, so they are not there to steal anything. They just go for selling their stuff. Okay, so with them you can make bargains. With the shops you cannot. Yeah, so what else? Okay, so it's gonna be hot, so make sure you load up on some water. You can buy some here on the side in the small stores. And yeah, just enjoy the gardens, walk around, and take some nice pictures. You'll see there's gonna be a lot of people lining up. They're lining up for entering the palace museum, so you don't have to worry about that queue, because we're just going in to the gardens. So hopefully we just get inside. Okay, so on the left hand side you can see there's the parking lots for the buses. That's where we're going to stop. Here on the right you have the shade with some umbrellas outside, some snack bar, and some restaurants if you just want to hang out and enjoy some gelato or whatever. But the entrance, the main gate is here, and then the left hand side of the building is the entrance to the gardens. Okay, so there will be like a place which you can go through and enter into the gardens. So first we're going to park the bus inside after getting through the gate, and I will just show you how to get inside, and then you're free to go and enjoy yourselves for 2 hours here at Chateau Versailles.
Grabe, grabe. Mas malaki pa yan sa mga ibang castle na kita natin.
Grabe.
Worth it naman pala talaga puntahan.
Or